ability to see and judge things for what they are.
I didn't let the mental side of it worry me. I always had confidence in my own ability. If I made a mistake, I felt that 9 times out of 10 it was a physical mistake, that I had tried to do something and I didn't get there in time. I was too slow or something like that. But I'm sure with a lot of players, their mental attitude is terribly important. They imagine there are difficulties that are not really there.
Don and Jessie Bradman's son John was born in 1939 and their daughter Shirley was born in 1941. To add to his responsibilities, Bradman's employer, Harry Hodgetts, went broke in 1945 and Bradman set up his own business as a stockbroker in Adelaide.
At that time, I honestly did not think that I would play first-class cricket again. But you want to cast your mind back to the euphoria that existed in the community with the end of the war. And particularly in England, they were very, very anxious to get cricket started again, to give them some relief from the conditions that they'd endured for several years. So there was tremendous pressure on the sporting authorities to get cricket in particular going again. And that was really why England agreed to come out to Australia in 46-47, even though the authorities, I think, felt it was probably a little bit early and they were not quite ready for it. They still saw the necessity to get cricket started for the sake of the public. We, of course, agreed to meet them, and then I personally was under very great pressure to play, and it was with a great deal of reluctance that I consented, and I said, well, I'll try, and I'll see how I perform. And I think I had a good piece of luck in the first test match. I might have been out fairly early, but managed to go on and make a century. I didn't think I was ever 100% in 46-7.
He scored his 100th century in first-class cricket in the summer of 1947-48 against the first Indian team ever to come to Australia. Then came his last Test series and his last tour to England in 1948.
I can recall that we had a team meeting in Perth before we left Australia, and I gave the boys a bit of a pep talk over there. Told them I had great confidence in the side. I thought we had great strength, great depth, and that we could more than match the opposition. I didn't really think at that stage we were going to be good enough to go through the tour undefeated, but I think I gradually instilled into them enough confidence to make them realise that this was possible. And as the tour unfolded, they began to realise themselves how good the team was. I was going out of the game and I wanted to go out on a high note, both for myself and for my players and for the country. So I went to great lengths to try and make sure that everything was all right.
The Duke of Edinburgh graced the cricket writers' dinner in London, where he met Don Bradman.
I was in England for 2 weeks and hadn't been to bed before 1 o'clock in the morning, which gives you an idea that I was working pretty hard. And as the tour went on, and as we were very successful, our mail increased enormously. I got to the stage at one point where my own personal mail reached 600 letters a day.
Every road led to Trent Bridge. Skies threatened, but the lure of the first test match prevailed, and till the ground was full, the turnstiles clicked without interruption. No money was wanted back by 26,000 cricket fans. On a batsman's pitch, England were all out 165. Deplorable, but better than seemed likely. Edrich opened to Barnes in the last quarter of an hour of the day. Betts bowled at the other end to Morris. The batsmen put on 73 before Laker bowled Morris next morning, and the monarch of all batsmen came to the wicket for the last test match here at Trent Bridge. Australians looking on saw the captain weather a rather shaky start, and slowly, too slowly for the liking of the crowd, the score mounted, till by a boundary off Edrich, Bradman sent up the 100.